What's going on, everyone? So it's been interesting. I think it was maybe a little bit more than 24 hours, maybe like 36 hours. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to take you back to our discussion yesterday morning. So let's paint the picture here. Tuesday night, we raced Big Diamond. And we had to be back in New Jersey for something the next morning. Knowing we had to then drive Wednesday to Selinsgrove. Mind you, it's 3 hours away. And we had to be at Selinsgrove by noon for a Platinum Drivers meeting. So we were on quite the time crunch. And then we did what we had to do yesterday morning. And it was about 8:45. We're like, you know what? Do we start heading in that direction? Because it was going to rain. Or, like, when are they going to call it? So we decided, we're going to start, but we're going to get some breakfast. And so would you like to map it out, Mike, on how we ended up here?
Well, I mean, you just kind of mapped it out, didn't you?
No.
What did you leave out?
The discussion of we were in Jersey, but the hauler was still a Big Diamond. And then Brian had to go here and there, and mapping out like the decision of what we did yesterday.
I mean, not to mention, we left the shop in Elizabethtown on Sunday and went to Glen Ridge.
Correct.
And then went straight from Glen Ridge to the shop in New Jersey. And then we were then heading to Big Diamond
Tuesday.
So we raced Big Diamond, and the car was pretty good.
No, they're probably not going to hear you if your mic's in your skin.
Oh,
there you go.
Car was pretty good at Big Diamond, but our other car that we've been running at Malta, it's been okay. So our first thought was when Selinsgrove rained out at like between 9 and 10 a.m.
Well, it was if Selinsgrove rained out. They didn't,
Yeah,
they didn't cancel until 10.
We were already kind of thinking about what are we going to do if Selinsgrove rains out based on the forecast.
Yeah.
And so we were talking about it the night before, and then the morning of Wednesday,
Yeah.
we were talking about if we rain out, we could take our Malta car to dig.
Yeah. Which is in Cortland.
And get it scaled and have our shocks gone through and just kind of see if there's something that I've been missing there. We've tried this way with the setup and that way and this way, and we've kind of been all over the place, and nothing's really been outstanding that I've come up with. So I needed a different idea, a different concept, and Dale and Brandon had a great, relatively basic baseline for me to go to, but yet different than what I've been running. And then a shock package to go with it, and completely went through the car, and it's alignment, ride heights, weights, spring smasher, back to scaling and checking for binds, things like that, and really thorough job, which we had discussed is a challenge. As a race team, you're worried about the engine, the drive line, the truck and trailer, the fuel, the tires, all these different things. And when we went there that day, it was just about
the car,
scaling the car, because he had already done the shocks. Shocks were ready, and it was strictly, we're just scaling
It was really cool.
So I was pretty happy with how it went and very excited to see how it goes at Malta on Friday. We'll try the car out. Now, there's still more to the trip because,
Oh my god.
it's bumpy.
I was really hoping it's not going to be blurry for you guys, as long as you can hear us. I turned the camera off and he burps. Smell really bad. Smell like Popeyes. I'm telling the world we like Popeyes.
So there's sweet heat sauce and bold barbecue. Those are my favorite for Popeye's chicken.
I said this.
I would much rather have something like that than McDonald's. We're on the road. There's limited choices.
There's no more
Popeye's
McDonald's
chicken
on
is
the
the
gosh
shiz.
darn highway in New York. It's such a ripoff.
Just ask Little Nicky.
Okay, Little Nicky.
Which Mandy's not seen.
No, I have not. Okay, so what were you saying about this trip?
So we're not done yet because we left Dig and then we went back to King Ferry to
Okay,
the farm.
pause. My vision of how I was going to explain this to them is completely different than your vision of how you're explaining it. You
Of
forgot.
course.
You forgot
Because
to
we have
mention.
different ideas and things.
So I know. So let me fill you guys in. Bear with us here. We're having breakfast yesterday morning, deciding, literally mapping what makes the most logical sense because we needed to make sure, well, basically how our lifestyle is, and that can be a completely different conversation, guys, of how him and I map out.
Just to be clear, I wasn't going in a different direction than this. I wasn't done.
How
So
are you
go
going to
ahead.
mention this? How are you going to squeeze
So
this
to
in?
me, it's important for them to know that after we left Dig, we went back to King Ferry
Yeah.
and we washed the car
Yeah.
because even though we scaled the Malta car, the other big block was still completely filthy from racing at Big Dime
Correct.
and had to be washed. And we got to run the valve lash and check the return filter and make sure that that car is ready to race in case we have to use it as a backup car. So you can't just roll it in the trailer and then, oh, primary car broke, we got to roll this out, it's not ready. We had to do that as well.
Yeah.
So when we sat down and we were thinking about what our logistics of what we were going to do,
circling back.
that was a part of it, is that we not only need to go to Dig and scale the Malta car, but we had thought about, well, should we be scaling this car that we raced at Big Diamond?
Yeah.
If we do, we need to get it washed because we're not going to scale it all. We're not going to bring it to their shop all muddy, and
Correct.
that'd be a disgrace. I mean, it's kind of disrespectful in a way.
I mean, but
So,
we
like,
did bring the race car muddy.
Yeah,
You didn't do
we
anything
unloaded
to
it in the
it.
driveway
Yeah,
and only brought the clean one.
We didn't work on that one.
Not
there.
that I have no idea what they're, what they prefer
Yeah.
or whatever. But for me, I wouldn't want somebody doing that to me, so
Oh, yeah.
I would prefer to clean it. So we're thinking about, okay, how are we going to get the car clean? And so we decided, all right, we're going to scale that car. It's already clean. It's a car we've been struggling with.
the one that
So let's
needs
have
it.
them fix that one up.
Yeah.
And then we'll take the other car back to King Ferry, clean that up, and if we have time, we'll bring that one to Dig and scale it. We didn't really have time. It rained as we're washing the car. It was miserable.
Which
But
I'm gonna
we got it done, and we're headed back to E-Town.
I'm gonna show you guys what we're discussing right now after this. But you still, again, you did not pick up on what I was putting down.
Well, we were sitting there
He's trying hard.
in limbo. What you were talking about is we're sitting there in limbo, deciding where are we going to go, what are we going to do,
Yeah.
planning it out. That's what you wanted to talk about, and I feel like now it's time to talk about that.
Oh, now
that
it's
they
time?
know all of this other
Now
stuff.
it's time.
Yeah. So
now
go
it's
ahead.
Oh, thank you. So,
Oh, one more thing. Not to delay it even more.
what?
But we also had a hose break on the truck,
Correct.
and we're concerned that we're making all these miles and we're relying on an old inner tube and some zip ties to keep it from leaking and keep the engine from overheating on the
Yeah.
truck. So that wasn't very comfortable. We thought, okay, we gotta figure out where we're gonna get this hose, get it fixed.
Yeah.
So that was part of the situation too.
You still didn't say the one thing I'm thinking.
Now
Are
it's
you
time.
ready? Are
now
you sure?
I'm ready.
Are you sure?
I think so.
Okay.
Maybe.
Let's say.
This microphone just so heavy.
Well,
My shirt collar isn't strong enough for this thing.
it's sticking to your beard. Maybe it'll hang on better. So, we had a battery problem on the car,
Right.
and we needed to get oil also for the car.
We
Ah,
changed the gears one too many times when we were running out of bulldog blood. So
correct.
had we raced at Selinsgrove, we were going to need to change gears again, and we were going to need some gear oil. And I prefer not to use any other type of gear oil other than bulldog blood. It's what they recommend. It's got the right additives.
Don't worry.
Makes
No-
our rear ends last for the amount of laps they should go.
No dogs
And-
are harmed in the making of bulldog blood. It actually says that on the bottom.
So
True story.
that
There are people that actually call
um,
and ask that.
our lithium battery, these have been a little shaky in the race cars. They save a lot of weight, but the thing's gone. They go like 6 months, and then we end up having to replace them. And so that wasn't really starting the car very well.
Yeah.
I shouldn't say that. It wasn't starting the car at all.
At all.
We had to pretty much have a charger and a jump pack on it to start the car.
Now, is that
But it would run. So it was like maybe we could use it, but then we had a backup battery in the trailer that was like an old AGM
yeah?
battery, and we thought, okay, we'll put that in. So Brian installed that, and we charged it, and it started the car for the most part throughout the night. But even with the alternator charging it, voltage would go up to 14.2. Everything seemed normal, but you'd shut the car off, and it wouldn't have enough power to fire it right up. It would kind of, and one time I had an issue where I had to be push started.
I was gonna say, if anyone watched the race Tuesday night, Mike had to get push started.
So
Yeah,
we
which
were
is
like,
that.
we should get a battery so we don't have some kind of issue that,
Yeah.
prevents us from having.
So
Yeah.
we're at breakfast. We're back to breakfast for them team time, and we're like, well, where can we find, like, is there a speed shop? And I said, Mike, I was like, well, try Hoffman's. And Brian had drove separate. So I was like, send Brian to Hoffman's. In the meantime, because we were all like, let's not send the toter, like, let's not send Lance and Brian to Ceilings Grove, because if they cancel, they're not that they're going to be stuck there. It's just not really necessarily on the way. So toter stayed at Big Diamond.
So to realize, so the truck and trailer is at Big Diamond with Lance. Brian's heading to Hoffman's, which is
It was
east.
40 minutes east of Big Diamond.
And Mandee and I had
2
gone
hours.
home the night before.
East of Big Diamond.
So we're in Flemington.
We hitched a ride with Billy. Yes.
Yes. So we're all in different places, and we're figuring out what we're going to do next.
Yeah. Like, what's the most logical thing for us to do? That way we aren't all driving like 20 vehicles across the Northeast.
Now, meanwhile, for a lot of teams, if you're running really well and you're not having any issues, the rain out meant go home, relax,
Couch night would have been really nice.
chill out.
Mm-hmm.
But that hasn't been the case. Like I've got to do my homework. I've got to try to get better.
When you're not
running as good as I want to, so
You gotta do your homework.
we got to go. Like rain out means don't quit. It means go to work.
Work more.
So,
we did.
we're going to work on, find the parts we need, figure out the setup, and watch video, study stuff, try to figure out how to get better. And so back to the logistics, where we are. What did we decide to do?
So Brian calls and he's like, well, I'm almost to Hoffman's, and I mapped it, Google mapped it. I was like, well, you're only really like maybe less than an hour from where we are at the moment. So he swung down, picked us up. Lance went straight north to Dig. I think that was maybe 3 hours from McDiamond. Jim met Lance at Dig with Dale and Brandon. We rolled in maybe an hour and a half after they did.
Yeah,
So that was also a 3 hour drive for us.
So I'd call my dad because he's only half an hour from Dig, so he was able to help Lance get the cars out and get them in the shop so that they could get the scales set up and start setting up the car.
Yeah.
And Brian picked us up. And
Mike got to have a little cabin.
And, oh yeah, I did get to. Brian drove, so I got to sleep a little bit.
Yeah.
And when we got there, they were already
they had quite a bit done.
long ways into what they were doing.
Yeah.
So
I'm gonna cut it like right here. I'm gonna show you guys literally us rolling into Dig yesterday, so you can really check out, like, they've done a lot, and it's very, very impressive work. What they do, what they built for themselves. So I'm gonna show that.
Hopefully this backwards explanation between the two of us
Makes sense.
And explains how we're explaining this after it already happened. 'Cause this is how Mandee does our intros. Instead of it being before, we do it after. It's very confusing for me.
Makes perfect
Probably
sense.
everyone else except for her.
Yes. Thank you.
Makes complete sense to me.
More business. You've arrived at your destination.
Oh man, look at that filthy car.
Whoa.
This one's weird for some reason. I don't know how we can get pound off on all of them except for
This one
tire.
on his was 4,
4.
and on yours was 6.5.
Right.
And but everyone else, all the other 3 was a pound off.
And that's
But this one here.
That's 2 of my gauges read
Yeah.
the same thing.
Wow.
And don't know
One
why.
digital.
It's got to be in the. I don't know why it's in the stem. Brian,
But it's,
It might have like a little piece of rubber in the stem.
yeah,
Like
it just needs a new chuck
yeah.
on the end. Okay.
Or it just needs, like if this,
Oh, you
the
this,
rubber,
this wheel.
the rubber part, this valve stem, if there's a little
we ought to grab it.
Little loose piece of rubber in there. It
Just
can
another,
throw off.
bring another tire
Brush it.
clean or something.
Yeah.
It has to be.
That's not something you use anymore. No. I like those are really nice.
Huge.
Yeah.
So you need, well, it's 60, so this. Why would the bigger bleed be better with?
Yeah.
We got Dale, we got a low tire in that.
Front end
Oh,
like
okay.
major regulars of
Yeah.
one thing that was correct.
Hasn't changed. Okay.
Yeah.
I think, honestly, I knew that. And I just fucking went by.
So that was awesome. We found a lot of places where I had been overlooking the adjustments on the car, and sometimes you just need a little reset. There he is.
The Mayan.
Hi.
Hey.
So sometimes when you're making changes to the car, you go one after another, and then before you know it, things have gotten a little bit out of whack, and it's time to kind of reset, start from square one. And
These guys did it.
I needed a second set of eyes to
look at it and
Definitely need that.
go the direction it needed to go. And so it's great. They have the support for not only the shocks, but then the suspension setup as well, and truly appreciate it. So looking forward to running better as we go forward here.
No pressure, Brandon and Dale. No pressure.
AccuWeather app.
Oh,
It's better than
AccuWeather app is better
one
than the
around.
iPhone app.
Brian looks better. Test.
Test, test, test.
Can you hear what I'm saying?
Can you hear what I'm saying?
Do you?
So, welcome back.
Microphone again.
What? Fixing
Fix
the
his
microphone. Oh,
microphone
he
again.
cannot. He cannot. So, that is basically our last, like I said, 36 hours or so. I can't do math. We're just going to roundabout assume that's what it's been. This is just an interesting life because you have plans to go here, and it's like, well, race is rained out, but we're going to go this direction, like completely opposite. Was not planned, but I'm sure well worth it. Like Mike said, we really appreciate Dale and Brandon and Dig and all them there to really like probably drop their afternoon to, not drop their afternoon, but fit us in.
Yeah, and you know, we're also fortunate to have the rig we have. We have a we have a motorhome that we can stay in, along with a trailer that can hold 2 cars and a lot of tires and a lot of equipment. And we're
Hotel
packed
Mahaney.
with, you know, I've got all of our toiletries in this bathroom and our one at home. She doesn't. She should, so that you don't, when this stuff doesn't happens, you don't get annoyed with me that you're not. I'm not ready. Right.
But I need to
So to me, it's nice that, you know, you can have all this stuff.
we have a house on wheels. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, I got extra clothes in here.
Yeah,
You know,
which I
so
do
if
not.
we decide to change decisions and change directions, go somewhere, stuff's in here. You know, if you're washing the car and you get soaked, you got extra shoes in here. You know, so like it goes the same for like our crew members. It's important for them to keep extra stuff in here with us so that no matter what happens, we're ready to go.
Our life is around racing. It's pretty much what it is. It's
But for some, I should say,
okay.
this is like, you know, the dream to be able to just kind of hit the road and go find a race and go at it. And the more efficient we get at it and the more smooth things go, the more races we can go to. So.
More races.
And the
I'm
more
talking,
content
guys.
we can
More
put out.
races. Oh my god. Just what your wife needs.
Well, for instance, this week we got rained out twice.
Yeah, you're right.
So we would have raced
we
more.
were supposed to race Airborne today. I forgot to mention
We
that.
could have said, "Oh, we got rained out twice.
Yeah.
Let's go race this other race." Because there was other races we could have gone to, but we went and said, "No,
We did our homework.
we're gonna do our homework
We
instead
needed
to get better for the next race instead of just racing more."
So
Because
now
that's not necessarily going to help us.
we have our 5-hour drive from King Ferry to Elizabethtown. Probably rolling in around 8 or 9. Go up to the Hot Eggs. We're gonna, I think, watch Eldora. That's what's going on, right? Yeah. And then we race Albany tomorrow night with the car that we took to Dig. So by the time you're watching this, I'm gonna say I'll probably be dropping this Friday morning. So then you guys get to watch Friday night and see how the car goes.
Yeah. Did we mention that Airborne rained out today?
I just did. Yeah.
Okay, so
that was part of us cramming life in.
We were expecting to have to race today and kind of get back there a little sooner.
We were supposed to do 4 days straight.
Took our time a little more because we found out they were rained out, and we were able to have, put a little more time into getting the cars cleaned up and ready for
Maintenance.
Friday. So
So that being said, we're gonna spend, I don't know, maybe a few more minutes hanging out with us if you want. Our Club D2 members, whenever we do a little special, we like to drop them open Q&A. So if you guys want some Q&A, drop your questions. Otherwise, we have a few that submitted their own. So they're pretty much geared towards Mike. Unfortunately, not me. Mike, those are your questions.
these are the questions.
These are your questions.
All right. So we got Mark.
Travis? No. Oh,
Mark
Mark.
Edwards.
Mark's first. Okay, what's Mark at?
Says maybe getting a little ahead of the times, but eventually is Mike moving his shop south since we may have a track closing? So I assume he's talking about the
The Albany thing.
there's been some like
Yeah.
rumors of Albany,
Yeah.
and I don't think that's a done deal yet. I think that's mostly politicians that don't like the racing saying, putting out these press releases,
Yeah.
hoping that they can
Stir
get
some
the
stuff.
track to close. But in my opinion, what we need is more support for the track. And if the track's successful, they're not going to want to close it because they're making money, right? So biggest thing we need there for Albany is to have everybody's support.
Yeah.
And to show up and race, show up and watch
So
and buy a cheeseburger, and then they'll just keep racing. So
my 2 cents on this is anything is for sale if it's for the right price. So any
Yeah.
track is for sale, guys. Like, it sucks to say it, but any track is for sale. So instead of complaining, adding your 2 cents in, like he said, just go support the track, right? No one wants to see a track close, but it happens. It happens. Do we want it? Absolutely not. But we're going to continue to go, continue to show up, and continue to support it. That's all we can do.
yep. And
Unless you want to buy the racetrack and keep it a racetrack. There you go.
so the next question, Travis Plank: are the modifieds allowed to run the new shock technology that the late model world has banned? That technology, that I'm not that familiar with it, but I'm assuming what he's talking about is through shaft shock.
Okay.
And what that is a shock where the shaft, as it goes into the body of the shock, comes out the other side. So it doesn't build gas pressure as the shaft takes up displacement inside the body.
Okay.
And so they're pretty much able to run zero gas pressure, kind of like how our twin tube shocks used to be, but with a mono tube, which is able to utilize all of today's shock technology and pistons and everything that everybody currently runs. This microphone stay. But
Such issues.
so that now that you know what this shock is,
Yeah.
I don't actually know if we're allowed to run that or not. I'm going to assume probably not.
Well, if it's
Probably
been,
not for dirt.
yeah, yeah. If it's
Who
been
knows for Short Track
Underworld
Super
Racing
Series.
Group, yeah. If it's anyone under that,
Stuff like that is very vague with Short Track Super Series, but for a dirt car, probably not. If they, I know they don't. Sorry,
Okay.
correction. I know they put out a press release as soon as they outlawed it for the late models. They put out
For everyone else.
a thing for the modifieds as
Gotcha.
well. So, yeah, that's what that is. It's one of those things that could be an advantage, but also just could add cost for people to have it. So I think that was the reasoning for outlawing it. There are lots of times where we gain advantage by adding gas pressure to the shocks too. So it's not necessarily like the only thing that you have to go fast. So it's just another option. And sometimes too many options cost
a lot.
money, because if you feel like you got this rig and we show up to a track and you got to have everything ready to make any adjustment possible to be able to be fast, then you feel like you got to have all the options. You
Okay.
got to have all the different motor combinations that they allow you to run, all the different tire combinations, all the different shocks, the springs, everything that you could possibly maybe need.
Yep.
You feel like you have to have it. because that one condition will come up and you'll go, oh, we don't have one of those, and you'll feel like that's the reason you didn't win tonight.
Yep.
So that's where it ends up costing teams a lot of money in these situations. It's not necessarily just shocks, but all the different components when you're kind of allowed to have a free-for-all. So, all right, next question. Darren Bradley. I would love to see a video with Mike and the shock guys, knowing that this part of racing has become so important. Too many secrets?
We just did. It's what
All
we
right.
just did.
So we just gave you a video
Yeah.
with the shock guys.
Easy enough.
Annandale playing
There you go.
Big Race Products.
Check them out.
There you go.
Guys, I am
Darren
so
Bradley.
sorry if this
That's
is
the
like
second question.
so bumpy.
The microphone won't stay.
Oh,
Seems like the cars are more consistent. We have more drive off this year. I know you are a few years into the shock program. Do you think that this is a big part of the change? Absolutely. For me, if I go back to some setups that have won me races 2 years ago, I'm not keeping up this year. I feel like a lot of our competition has got more drive, more
Yeah,
side bite
they've
than
stepped
they
up.
had in the past,
for sure.
and we have to adapt and update as well with them. And so the shock packages have changed, but the setup and in general is a balance. And some of the things that I changed worked with what I used to have. And then you update to the newer technology, and my old alignment, wedge, stagger, ride heights don't match up with that. So what we did in this video was we went back to basics and then added a newer, more modern shock package from Dig, and we're gonna see how that turns out.
Yay! Awesome. So thank you, Michael. Appreciate you guys. You can ask me a question, just one question. If you could ask me a question, Michael, what would it be?
I can ask you a question.
If I could
Andy,
write you a song,
is it really that bad
It is.
having, to not know where we're gonna be tomorrow? And as long as you have all your stuff with you.
I want to say
Like,
it is.
We're
but
just
it's not.
trapped in this rolling box on wheels, and we're here, and we don't really know exactly where we're going to be tomorrow, what we're going to do, but it's probably going to have something to do with racing. Is
So,
it really that bad?
do you want my real honest answer?
No, I want you to fake it.
Listen, this life is awesome. I wouldn't trade it, but your girl can get burnt out really quick because she's been doing it for a long time. And
Our ride home from Big Diamond with Billy was ended with him trying to talk to me about my schedule and go, well, what about this race? You don't really have to go to that one, do you? And then I would explain, well, no, because of these points, those points, and this reason and that reason, I got to go that. It's like, man, isn't there some race you could drop? Even he feels like we kind of race a lot.
It's a lot. Yeah.
And there are days where, our crew feels like, man, let's hit this race or let's hit that race.
Oh my God.
And the next thing you know, they're burnt out and going, man, when are we going to get a break?
Yeah.
Um,
We're hungry, but my thing as the wife is if we are not running well, we should not be going to all of these races.
I
And
agree.
so we need to do our homework so we can run better, so we can make it worth our time. And
Right.
so I'm, as much as people hate rainouts, I'm grateful for it. Luckily, I actually really like Dalen and Brandon and Leslie and Julie. I love them like family. So I enjoyed hanging out at Dig yesterday, and it was needed. It was needed. Chase Michael's dream. We're all just living Michael's dream. It's fine. It's all we're doing. It's what I'm here for. I hope you got that on I think it was like up against my neck. It's fine. We're gonna figure these out. So this spin-off video, I figured show you guys what we were up to because we were supposed to race 4 days straight and it didn't happen. And I'm sorry that it is so bumpy and it might be a little noisy, but this is what it's like to live in this box of a house on wheels.
What do you think about a necklace to hold these? Just put it on so it doesn't have to clip to your shirt.
I mean, I could. You want to wear a necklace with me?
Why not?
Okay. All right. Gold chains? Gold or silver? I'll get gold. What do you want?
You're a bird, I'm a bird.
Yay. I still have not watched that movie, guys. Fun fact, I refuse to watch that movie. I don't know what it is, but everyone's watched it, so I don't want to watch it.
Everybody's seen that movie.
But me. Everybody but Mandee. And I'm very proud of that.
And everybody's seen Little Nicky, too, so.
Everybody. Have you watched that? Because I have not watched that. So, well, now we're going to get onto a rant. But, hey, actually, you know what? If you enjoyed us, like, struggling with the mics, just having a conversation, you want more of it, Mike, what word, because you always come up with fun words, what words should I drop in the comments, and we will do more stuff like this.
Ooh. Popeyes. Yeah, if you want more of this, then say Popeyes. If you don't like this stuff,
Do not say it.
don't say Popeyes. Say
Don't do it.
what?
What are you going to say?
Starbucks.
See?
See.
It's something that I like. You're going to say is a negative.
Starbucks. Or
Not that I love Starbucks. I prefer McDonald's.
some
Greasy
Louisiana kitchen.
chicken.
Mike,
Yeah. How's that mic working for you, huh?
It's working great.
Okay.
I don't know why these guys don't give me any money. I don't know why I'm advertising them.
It could have been Arbonne or Arbonne.
Our keywords should be sponsors only. We'll just use those. I don't know why I'm giving these guys free advertisements.
We're learning. We're learning together. All right, I like that one. High five. Let's do it. Thank you. All right, guys. Like, subscribe. Seriously, come hang out with us over in Club DTU, patreon.com/DirtTruckUntold. We've got group, like an awesome freaking group chat. We got the man, Jim Mahaney, he's in it. He's a hoot. If you like dad jokes, you gotta come hang out with us in there.
I've heard there's a lot of funnies from Jim.
He keeps everyone riled up. It is epic. So, thank you guys. It is raining again. Lovely. Lance is trucking us home, and we will catch you guys at Albany Saratoga Speedway tomorrow night.
See ya!